the chairman of the Indo-Korea Chamber of Commerce, Mr. Kim, Charge Affairs of the Indian Embassy, Mr. Ravi Saxena, distinguished members of my delegation, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, a very good morning to you. I bring with me a delegation from diverse industries to talk to you about that part of India which has been a dynamic center of trade, not only in recent times, but I would say since last 2,000 years. 2,000 years back, in 1st century AD, all naval expeditions from the world aimed at reaching India. India was, at that point of time, it was called a golden bird. There were stories and legends about this part of the world, of riches which were not known in the other parts of the country, other parts of the world. As we all know, America as the continent was discovered by Columbus in the process of discovering India. It was this part of India which had been trading the most in those times. And I'm speaking of this history essentially because the people who live in this part of India are a microcosm of the people from all corners of this continent, but who have excelled in business and trading since last 2,000 years. This is one area of India which has business in its blood, which has trading in its genes. And that is the state of Gujarat that, friends, I bring before you to talk to you about it, to invite you to this state for doing business, for involving yourself in trade, and for taking up activities for a successful partnership. As you can see, and as was mentioned by the chairman of ICCK, Mr. Kim, Gujarat is a highly industrialized state with 7.5% contribution to India's GDP. It's a state with 5% population, contributes 7.5% to India's GDP, contributes 17% of India's industrial output, 26% share in investments, unimplemented projects. Highest contribution to India's exports, that is 25%. With 5% population, 6% of the geographical area, we contribute 25% to the exports of India. It's got the highest share of port cargo, which is handled through the ports of Gujarat. This is 37%. The growth in last 10 years has been phenomenal. Average 10% in last 10 years. 53% of the total gross domestic product is aimed at exports. The major contributor to the manufacturing sector, as you can see, soda ash, diamond processing, salt production, plastic industry, petrochemicals, chemicals, pharmaceuticals, and textiles. The overall percentage of manufacturing to total GDP is at 28%, which speaks of a robust and a healthy economy. This is the location. And as you can see, the western corner of India is logistically available to good connections with the rest of the world on the east as well as the west. With a 1600-kilometer coastline populated with 40 ports, it becomes a very robust infrastructure for trade and commerce. Excellent road network. Today, people who visit Gujarat, in contrast with the rest of the country, find it comparable to the best in the world in terms of the road infrastructure. Highest number of ports, that is 42 ports and 11 airports. This is one state which is using gas for its energy requirements based on an integrated network of statewide gas grid over 2,800 kilometers. It's a state which is surplus in power. You might find it a little surprising for the country like India, which has a huge population, 1.2 billion people, serving electricity to each of the Indian person has been a daunting task. Many parts of the country do not have adequate electricity for its people, particularly in the rural areas. This part of India has continuous, round-the-clock electricity supply to every person in this state living in the villages or in the urban areas, and is equipped with installed electricity supply which is beyond its requirements, and hence it's a power surplus state. Many firsts. Gujarat is a place with innovation in business. And so you find some of the first practices evolving from this part of the country. The privatization of ports. The first private port was established at Pipavav in 1992. In India, the concept of a private port was unknown until then. And we demonstrated that if you want to obtain efficiency, the required effectiveness in the logistics for sea trade, private ports can be there to perform at the most competitive efficiency. The only liquid chemical port terminal, which is dedicated only for liquid chemicals, is located at Dahej, which you can see. The map is there. On the coastline in the Bay Area. The total traffic that is handled in Gujarat's ports is about 342 million metric ton in 2011-12, which accounts for 37% of the total cargo traffic handled in India. So almost close to 40% of the total cargo traffic is handled through the ports of Gujarat. As I spoke in the beginning, this is government and people both who understand business for the reasons I mentioned. And that is what makes Gujarat the most attractive destination. When you come to do business in Gujarat, you're essentially dealing with everybody who understands business, be it labor, be it your white-collar workers, be it your service people with whom you are transacting. Everybody understands that if your business is good, their business would be good. And that is what marks a difference from the business culture of Gujarat vis-a-vis the rest of the country. The project implementation, if you ask me one important characteristic of Gujarat which should make it logical for any of you to consider setting up project in Gujarat, that one most important factor is that your project implementation is the fastest, which means your capital turns the fastest in Gujarat. That's because everybody understands your business and everybody understands that their business is good. if your business is good. So project implementation is possible to be fastest only if all the agencies which are involved in the implementation of the project develop a synergy which is conducive to quick implementation of the projects. Some of the examples, Tata, Ford, and as you know, Gujarat is becoming a hub of automobiles. Today, all big automobile manufacturers have come to be established on that backbone of Gujarat which connects it with the major ports. There is a proactive state government where hassle-free clearances are available for the projects to be implemented. One of the major infrastructure projects is Delhi-Mumbai Industrial Corridor. I met the CEO and President of the Korea branch of Delhi-Mumbai Industrial Corridor here. It's a high-impact industrial area within 150 kilometers distance on both sides of the Delhi Freight Corridor. The freight corridor starts from Dadri, which is Delhi, to Mumbai at JN Port, the Jawaharlal Nehru Port. This passes through the states of Rajasthan and Gujarat. Gujarat, as a matter of fact, is the mainstay of business on this industrial corridor. So, this Gujarat, with this Delhi-Mumbai industrial corridor, is going to become the engine for economic resurgence of the country. This corridor is supported by the world-class infrastructure and policy framework. The second very ambitious infrastructure project is Dhalera Spatial Investment Region, spread across 900 square kilometers. It has airport and seaport planned within this area of the state-of-the-art level, an international airport, Central Spine Express Highway and high-speed metro rail to link the spatial investment region with Ahmedabad, is high-access corridor, city centers, industrial and logistic centers, knowledge and IT hubs, recreation and sports, and entertainment center. This world-class residential facility afforded in this part of the industrial corridor for people from all parts of the world to find it a home. The third very large infrastructure project, which is in the process of being developed, is called Petroleum, Chemicals and Petrochemicals Investment Region, based on the Dahej Port. It's a comprehensive economic development project which is spread over 500 square kilometers, located in South Gujarat and already thriving with huge investments in petrochemical industries and other water-intensive industries. Why it's important is because this is the only place in the country which is equipped with effluent disposal mechanism deep into the sea, which has approvals and clearances of all environmental regulation agencies. When it comes to chemical industry and petroleum industry, what you need the most is that the location must fulfill the requirements of liquid, solid and air effluents disposal. And that requires infrastructure to be developed the way the clearing agencies, the regulating agencies permit. And this is one area where you have deep disposal 14 kilometers into the sea, which is not there anywhere else in the country. There is also an area abundant in water supply, as pipelines have been laid from the large river system of Narmada. And so the basic prerequisites for chemical industry, which is effluent disposal and water supply, both have been met with this place. This is yet another major flagship industrial investment project, which is called Gujarat International Finance Tech City. This is a state-of-the-art center for financial services already under implementation in the capital town of Gandhinagar, between Gandhinagar and Ahmedabad. This would boast of technology at its best for making the business of finance for the best of the efficiencies. The globally benchmarked international finance center, strategically located just 12 kilometers from Ahmedabad International Airport. It would become a hub of central hub of financial businesses, IT and IT-enabled services sectors. It will be about 90 million square feet of real estate, office and residential space, and would be first of its kind in scope and quality, state-of-the-art infrastructure. Metrolink Express for Gandhinagar and Ahmedabad is again under implementation. That would bring the two towns into a twin city with very fast mode of transport. So where do you have the opportunities for investment in Gujarat? Electronics system design and manufacturing. India is poised to attract and facilitate investments in the area of electronics system and design based on India's own requirements. India consumed electronics of the order of $60 billion this year, out of which almost $27 billion was import from China, Taiwan, and some other countries. The demand for electronics in India is likely to rise to $200 billion by 2020. As a result, the import bill of electronics of India would cross the import bill for oil in a matter of 3 years from now. And it is for that reason, for the huge market for electronics that is emerging in India, rising up to $400 billion by the year 2020, that the government of India has already announced a number of steps for making electronics industry most attractive. The steps include creation of fund for electronic industry, development of electronic clusters, development of a fab in India, and many other incentives. The governments, both at the state as well as at the central level, have already moved towards this, have moved towards creation of electronic clusters and parks, and this would perhaps become one of the most attractive sectors for investment in Gujarat. Information technology and biotechnology are yet other areas which are poised for growth for the simple reason that the innovation in this area, the research, education, and the inclination of the India's youth towards these assures manpower of the highest quality anywhere in the world, and that makes information technology and biotechnology extremely attractive sectors. Automobiles and auto components already have it's already got demonstrated that this sector is thriving in Gujarat the most. Almost all major manufacturers of automobiles have invested in Gujarat, and a huge area is today becoming the automobile corridor in Gujarat. There are industrial zones which can be developed by private sector. As you saw, we have some large infrastructure projects. As the investment comes, this particular infrastructure is good enough for investment from the private sector. And last but not the least is the solar and wind equipment manufacturing. The government of Gujarat was extremely upbeat about the fact that energy requirements of the globe are to be met with the innovation in technologies, and which points towards solar energy. We already have developed a very huge 600 square kilometer area identified for development of solar energy. And there are incentives already announced for generation as well as manufacturing of projects leading towards the use of solar energy and wind energy. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is the time for me to invite you to Vibrant Gujarat 2013. Vibrant Gujarat 2013 is a sequel to this is the 6th Global Summit, which has now become known all over the world for being an opportunity for talking to each other for business. It is not only for talking to each other for business in Gujarat, it is a summit for just talking business globally. This is a global platform for business and aims this year at diverse issues, particularly towards knowledge economy, for exchange of ideas, projects, assistance and collaboration in the area of knowledge. Universities are going to attend it. Educational institutions are going to come from different parts of the world. They're going to be a part of this event. This is also an opportunity for development of the employment of youth and innovation. So this is an event not merely for talking about investment and trade. It's also an event for exchange of knowledge, exploring the potential for developing projects and opportunities for innovation. Innovation is what Gujarat is now focused upon, and this event is going to be central for developing collaboration on knowledge and innovation. As you notice here, from 2003 to 2011, last 5 events have been evolving in their structure and have now come to be a global business hub. Last year, 2011, more than 100 countries participated. It was participated by more than 5,000 delegates from different parts of the world. So 2011, some of the highlights: 101 countries, 1,400 foreign delegates, more than 35,000 Indian delegates. So, friends, this is to invite you to Vibrant Gujarat 2013. Thank you for your attention. Thank you very much.